All right, we are live. Good evening. You're watching a Clubb Tracks TV show. I'm your host, Noel Clubb, and welcome to Spanking Sports World Network on Zingo TV, channel 250. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app from respective iOS and Android app stores, as the app is absolutely free. And while you download, please make sure to rate and leave us a comment, because Mark and I always want to hear from you folks. That's right, we sure do. And Zingo TV is also available on Google, Chromecast, Amazon Fire, and Fire TV sticks. Roku and Roku sticks are also available on all smart TVs from 2016 forward, Here's all the viewers watching the show around the world. Thank you for joining us here on your Sunday evening. And now it's time to introduce, of course, officially our cool co-host of the show, He's a solo artist. He's also a lead singer and guitarist of a very cool band out of New York City, The Handful. Please welcome the one and the only Mark, cool dude, Duda, to the show.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Good to see you guys, man. How's your week been?
Oh, very busy, and I had my birthday this week, so
nice.
Moments.
All right. Since I stopped aging, that means you're catching up.
I'm catching up with you now. Exactly.
That's right. Yeah. That's my narrative. I'm sticking with
it. Yeah, they turned the big 50 this past Tuesday. So yeah, big milestone. But anyway, I don't feel the age, so that's the good news.
No, I hear you. I don't either. That's the important thing.
Yeah. I think we're all the three of us are kind of the same kind of very active, and we're kind of like always out there kind of people. So yeah. Age kind of slows down with us. That's kind of more of the good news there. So
absolutely, brother.
Very good. Well, hey man, so how's your week? What's new with you?
That was good, man. Just doing my thing. I had some kids concerts this week. We went to the Pride rally in town to support some of the people I love the most.
Very good.
Yeah, I took a rest from the studio this weekend, but I'll be back in there next weekend. So yeah, man, just making new music, getting by, enjoying my family. How about you, man?
Yeah, I say the birthday thing. I did have. I was coaching in a couple of fights this past weekend.
Nice.
I have a female fighter who's just been really just fantastic as far as like a young athlete's concerned, just doing fantastic. So she had a nice win. She had a TKO, second round TKO. So
beautiful.
The girl on her feet. So the ref had to step in and stop the action.
Yeah.
And so they gave her a belt, which for the evening, which is like, whoa,
sweet.
Best fighter of the night kind of thing. So no, really proud of her. It's just
that's rewarding, man. Meanwhile, I lost money last night on Josh Taylor because. Yeah, you know what? I know Teo was a badass, but he didn't look good his last couple of fights, even though he won one of them,
Yeah.
And I thought Josh should take him. He was stepping up in weight, and it's the way it goes, brother.
Well, actually, that's a good call you made, because that was when we get off topic, because I'm a boxing guy. You're a boxing fan and a long time, and also a former boxer yourself. So yeah, little side note here, folks. Yeah, so it's very true. Like I kind of bet on Josh Taylor too, based on the merits of, well, Tifa Lopez is not stable mentally. What we've seen the last, like you're saying, the last.
That's right. He hasn't looked good lately.
Like not stable.
Since the Loma fight, he's been a little haywire.
Exactly. And he fought. Was it Martin? As last guy was Martin. He fought
Cambosos, and then the last guy, right? I think Sandor. That was
Sandor Martin. Thank you very much. That's the guy.
It was a close fight, and it shouldn't have been.
It should not have been. Exactly. Should have been a clear knockout for Tifa Lopez. It didn't work out that way, but yeah. So I was shocked too. Yeah. So your thinking was like in line with my thinking. I thought it'd be Josh Taylor would probably take it, not maybe necessarily convincingly, but it was probably take it on points and so on and so forth. But Lopez stepped it up. So
one of his best nights that night. I'd love to see him run it back. I thought, I was surprised it wasn't closer, but it's the way it goes, brother. On any given night, right? Just
that's boxing for you.
Yeah.
Unpredictable, as you know. Speaking of unpredictable, but good things though, in a good way. Talking about, of course, our very cool guest here for the first time here on the show. She's a multi-talented Canadian artist. She's a singer, she's a dancer, actress. Not to mention, folks, she's a very cool rising star as well, folks. So keep an eye on her if you guys would. So I'm talking about her latest single, Good Vibes, and of course, much more here on the show. Please welcome the very cool, the very awesome, the very multi-talented Ana Pac to the show. Yeah. Welcome.
Hey, what's good? How's it going?
Right on.
Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you guys too.
Wow, like multi-talented. I guess I was reading up on your bio. You've done it's like
Triple threat.
amazing. It's truly a triple
You
threat.
know,
Truly, and
acting, song, and
great
dance.
further than that.
Awesome.
Yeah, further than
Yeah.
that. So tell us about so you're from I believe was it Montreal originally,
Yeah, I'm originally from Montreal.
and now based in Toronto. But yeah, get back to Montreal for a moment. Tell us about growing up in Montreal, beautiful Montreal. For that matter.
Absolutely. I just when you're a kid, you don't really like notice much of it, but as like an adult, I look back and I'm like, because I lived and grew up in Montreal, I can speak three languages
Oh,
just
good.
like fluently because I lived in the West Island, which is mostly English. But because French is prevalent, you had to learn French. So the daycare that I went to actually did English and French. So as I'm learning to actually talk, I would learn three languages at the same time. And then you go to school in French. So I did all of my schooling in French, but my extracurricular activities were all in English. And so just thinking back on that, I remember having these conversations where it's just like within one sentence, I would fluctuate between different languages, but everything would still make sense and everybody would understand each other. So I was thinking of that the other day, and it's funny that we're talking about Montreal, and I was like, oh, this this happened.
No, very cool, very cool. So, in terms like forget the music part of your of what you do, in terms of like being, you're also an actress. I've done that as well. So, how did the acting thing get started? Like, how old were you, and how did it all start for you?
Um, well, I was on I started with dance. So dance I would say would be like my
Dance
first
first.
love, my
Gotcha.
first thing. But through dance, I did a couple of TV shows. So I would do when I was little, I did a show called On the Road Again. Um,
Mm. Oh
and
yeah.
then there was one called Edible Incredible. And so just kind of through dance that way started opening doors a little bit. And then when I moved to Toronto, then I was like, this is something that is more available here that I could really tap into. And then I ended up doing things like The Next Step, which I also got to dance on. And then recently I've done some commercials and things like that. So I think through dance, it kind of opened the acting world up to me.
Gotcha, gotcha. Again, how old were you when you got started in the acting aspect of things?
Uh, if we're talking about the shows that I did when I was little, I was
Yeah, yeah.
probably 9 at the time, maybe ish, give or take.
Wow,
Mhm.
very good.
Yeah.
What a start that is. Now it comes to like the vocal aspect. When did that kind of come into fruition with you?
Um, when I was little, I remember do you remember those toys? They were like these Fisher Price, and the little cassette thing would open, and then it had like the tiniest little mic, and you could it
Right,
was
right.
battery whatever, and like you could walk around with it. So I remember being little, maybe 6, and having that toy and just walking around the house just belting to The Lion King because that was the thing.
It was huge at the time. Yes.
Yeah, and so I've always loved to sing. I'll sing in the car, in the shower, wherever. So singing was always part of my daily, I guess. But I
Yeah.
didn't actually start doing it professionally until I want to say 2020. So that was very recent that I did
No
that.
kidding. Last few years. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
So in terms of like the vocal part, so would you actually your first release? Because you've been doing this for a little while now, since 2020. So what was your
Yeah.
first? When did actually your first release come out for you?
My
First
first
single.
one was called Down in My Whip. And it's a bit of a dance track, a little EDM going on. So that was the first one that I did. And funnily enough, that song happened because I was on the set of a movie, which is crazy that things just happen like that. So
No
my
kidding.
now manager, who also owns the record label, was on that set, as well as the
Wow.
artist that I wrote Down in My Whip with, and we just all happened to be sitting at the same table while we were waiting to go on set, and we just started talking. And at that time, I had posted a couple covers of on YouTube, just little things like that, just trying to see like what I could do vocally. And then that artist that was sitting there with me, his name is Steven. And he was like, "Oh, I'm working on this. do you want to put your input onto it or whatever? And so we started working on this song that he had an idea for. And then at some point we said something like, now we just need like a record label or something like that. And then my manager is sitting there being like, hey. And so it was just insane how all of that happened.
It's like synchronicity right there, and like a bit of
Absolutely.
it's like just wild stuff.
And then all of us just work really well together, and so it's been great, and it's just funny that it so happened to start off like that.
Okay, so it's the same team, same nucleus was when it started off in 2020. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's why it really is special to meet them all at once and then make it all happen like that. That's incredible. Wow. Over to Mark before I get carried away here.
Hey, so thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So just curious as to about, like, we'd like to talk to the songwriters here about their process. Like, so when you write, how does it work for you? Do you get like a lyric in your head, a vocal melody? Do you write music first? Tell us a little bit about your process.
I'll have an idea, like a message that I'm passionate about, something that I want people to know.
Okay.
And then from there, I was having a hard time actually coming up with like a track or something to help me out so that I can come up with a melody and stuff. And my now producer said, you could just go listen to some like instrumentals of something and do your own melody and do your own stuff. And then we can just change all of that. But then you'll have like an idea of where things will go and how you want to place your melody, and then we'll just get rid of that, and then we'll work on the new stuff that we're gonna put together, which I thought was really interesting because
that's an interesting way to do it.
Yeah, it is.
So I've never done it that way, but that is interesting. I could see how that would work to give you some structure, something to groove to while you wrote your part.
Right. So it's that's what it was. It's mostly to have a structure, something to work with. And then from there, then I can put like my thoughts and the message and the lyrics that I want would come out more naturally. So once he said that and we started working like that, my process became a lot easier and a lot more, not that it wasn't fun before, but a lot more fun because I could just like be like, yeah, this is what I want. And it would just come quicker.
Yeah. The instrumental you're listening to would, in theory, inform sort of the idea you came up with too. So, I mean, that's pretty cool, you know. That's interesting. I've never had somebody answer that question that way before. Pretty cool. Now you mentioned that sort of topically is how you get inspired, you know, to come up with your songs. What are some things you like to sing about, messages you like to get across with your music?
I always believe in positivity and believing in yourself, as well as promoting acceptance of everyone, including yourself. So I like to write music that has to do with a lot of that, which is how Good Vibes came to be, which is great. If we could talk a little bit about Good Vibes, when you're a kid, or in my experience when I was a kid, I was very happy-go-lucky. My mom used to always say, whatever situation you go into, make sure you have positive thoughts, like go into it thinking good thoughts, right? And then you grow up, you become an adult, and things happen, right? Like you go through life. And I remember there was a point where I had to remind myself that good vibes and good feelings do exist, right? And so that process of having to remind myself and reteach myself how to find my good vibes and my positivity is what made me want to write Good Vibes, because some people might be going through that stuff, and if they play that song, it's the reminder being like, hey, you can find it again, like it's right here. When I wrote Good Vibes, it really was to remind people that that is out there and you can find it again. So
well, people like to be able to hear themselves in someone else's song too, right? If it's relatable, that's pretty key. So cool. Right on. I appreciate that. Noel?
Right on, sir. So how's the song? How's the new single "Good Vibes" been received so far? Is it being like airplay? I'm kind of curious.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
great
been
track. It's a great track there. Excellent
been
track.
received really, really well. I'm super happy with like the what people are saying, and I'll go on TikTok. I'll do some lives, and the people that come in will say things like, I was having a bad day, but then like I remembered that your song was out there, so I went to listen to it, and they're like, even if just for 3 minutes, I felt better. And then I have other people who say, you know what? I woke up this morning and I wanted to have a good day, so the first thing I did was play good vibes, and then it set up my day to have a good day. So when you
Right on.
listen to things like that, it obviously it makes me feel good
It's
because
rewarding.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it
what I
is.
wanted to give to people is what is actually happening. So it definitely warms my heart when I hear those kinds of things because that's what it's about. I just want people to have a good day, you know?
Right on, right on.
Yeah.
That's the whole spirit of it all. It's
Yeah.
so true, but also, it's that really that vibrational frequency kind of thing going on. Like
Mhm.
where you're saying there, what you're doing kind of consciously, where you want to have like positive vibes and bring a positive tone, even through tough times. So, I love that message. It's a great
Absolutely.
message. And it's so timely as Mark and I talk about a lot on this show, is definitely, especially these last few years, it's been tough on so many people,
Yeah.
like all of us in
Mhm.
different ways. So I love that. But it's very true about the vibrational frequency thing. It's so positive, and Mark
Yeah.
and I definitely love those kind of messages. Absolutely.
Get what you give, brother. You
Right
know?
on. Precisely. Right. Exactly as always.
Yeah.
Exactly as always. So, Anna, do you have any plans of like obviously you have more singles, but do you have any plans of doing an EP or album the next little while?
Yes, we're currently working on an album. I think most of the demos, we've done quite a few
Mm,
demos actually, have been made. We're going to have a meeting, see which ones are gonna make it, which ones aren't gonna make it onto the album, but we're definitely currently working on an album, and the next single is actually also currently being worked on, so that's exciting too.
very good. So when's
Mhm.
the next one gonna be coming out? Because this is quite even this the good vibes is quite fresh. This came out
Oh,
in May.
yeah. It
That's
came out
correct.
May 12th, so it's a
Yeah.
baby, it's recent.
Yeah, so this will be coming out what next? Like, I imagine next couple months. I'd imagine the next one, the next single.
We don't have a date yet. It's currently in production, so it's not ready yet to come out. But I would say soon-ish, I guess.
Soonish. It's good enough for us. Right on. But Good Vibes is a great track. So yeah,
Thank
congrats on
you.
that one for sure. And
Thanks.
that's kind of curious as as being an artist, like as you're doing your tracks in the studio or when you're recording in general.
Mhm.
Like how many takes does it take for you to actually nail down your in general? How many takes for you to actually land the right track?
Um, More than you would think.
I'm just curious. Like I always find it quite
Yeah.
fascinating. Something that takes two, nail it. Like I'm on 20, I nail it.
No, I'm one of those where even if it was a good one, like, even if it was a great take, I'm always gonna be like, "Okay, but one more just in case." So
That's the spirit. Right
yeah.
on.
So even if we got it after, like, 1 or 2, I'm still gonna be like, "'Kay, but maybe we could just do 5 more just so that I'm okay with it."
And like how many like double tracking so forth? You do like a lot of layering in
Oh,
most
yeah.
of the singles, yeah?
Mhm. Yeah, my producer, Nate, who goes by me, but like M. Dot E, not me.
Yeah, literally me. Yeah, I hear you.
He's very specific in all the tracks that he needs, and so he'll send it over and he'll be like, "This for this, this for this, this for this." So there's for sure a whole bunch of tracks going on.
No, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
It's very Queen-like, right? As they hear in the studio, they be like, needs more vocals, needs more layers, needs more this, needs more that. So no, I love that.
Yeah.
This
Mhm.
feels
It's sort of a long tradition of producers helping with
yeah,
the arrangements in that way, like George Martin, for
yeah.
example, right?
Great
Phil
example, yeah.
Spector, just yeah, when you have a producer that can also arrange, that's a great asset to have on your side.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, completely, completely. So I'm gonna ask you the other single, "Blast Off," which you
Mhm.
have released. So what's the inspiration behind that song, lyrically, musically speaking? Is there any inspiration behind that single at all?
It's a song about my future wife, so we are engaged.
Ah, gotcha.
Um, yeah,
Congrats.
thank you.
Right
And,
on.
um, so when we started dating and we, said I love you, at some point, I don't know if everybody goes through this, but at some point we were like, "Oh, like the word love just isn't enough. Like there's just you're like, I want to say more, but you
Yeah.
can't. And so we just we combined Disney, and so I love Disney, and she's like
Yeah. I love Disney too.
sci-fi type person, right? So we combined Disney and sci-fi. And so we took, you know how Buzz Lightyear says to infinity and beyond?
Yeah.
And then in the sci-fi stuff, they say something is like light years away. So we combined those two. And so the song came because I wanted to write a song about light years, which is Buzz Lightyear, and beyond, which is light years and beyond,
Okay.
right? Light
Gotcha.
years and beyond. So instead of just saying I love you to each other, we say I love you light years and beyond. So that was the starting point for that song, was that I wanted to write something with that, and then it became Blast Off. So it's a bit of our love story.
Yeah, very cool. I like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool little love twist to your story. I love that. Yeah, right on. So, you have like live shows you have a plan the next little while you'd like to announce here in the show coming up?
We don't have anything lined up or anything planned yet. I know that we are working on it. So as soon as we've got something in the works, I'll send you a message. You'll be the first to know.
Oh, very good. I appreciate that. No, very good, very good. Now, how long? I actually going back to the earlier in the show was how long have you been in Toronto now, living and residing?
Oh, I moved in 2012. So
2012. Okay, okay.
what is that? That's almost 10,
11.
It's
11
11
years.
years. Yeah.
I didn't realize it's been that long
Isn't
until
that
you.
wild, eh?
Yeah.
I think that's 11 years ago is to me is pretty wild.
Crazy.
Kind of hard to fathom that one. So,
Yeah.
what's your experience with Toronto? Like, in terms of like musically, the music culture here, like, what's it like for
Mhm.
you? Help shaping you as an artist and as a musician? What's it
Well,
been like for you?
so like we touched on, I grew up in Montreal, which has a lot of culture in itself and all that. And it's very like fast-paced living.
Mm.
And then I actually moved to Calgary, and I spent 5 years
Really? Out
in
west,
Calgary,
yeah.
which is like super chill,
Yeah,
like
very slow.
nobody's rushing anywhere, and so on and so on. So when I lived in Calgary, I was very much exposed to country music and all that side of stuff, which
Yeah.
coming from Montreal, I never
Yeah,
really listened
totally
to.
foreign to you, right? Totally
Yeah.
foreign to you. Yeah.
Surprisingly, I loved it. I was like, "Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
country
very
music, living for it." Yeah, and then after living in that like chill country music vibe, coming to Toronto, which is very like go go go, and there's
Yes, isn't it? It's so fast paced here. It
yeah,
is.
and
It
there's
is.
so much going on, and there's so much entertainment thrown
Yeah.
at you or whatever. I think it was, for me, it was a good switch. It was like I was very much stimulated, and like I wanted
Yeah.
to learn, and I wanted to be a part of all this and that. So I think moving to Toronto for me was a really good thing, and I've enjoyed every second of it, and I love like immersing myself into the different entertainment things that
Yeah, the
Toronto has to
circles, all the
offer.
even circles here you find
Mhm.
around the city, musically speaking, it's really quite amazing.
Yeah.
And all the different genres and stylings out there. It's just I love Toronto because so I was people for people out there. It's Toronto's like our New York City, and so
Mhm.
it has all the has all the happening stuff out there. Usually speaking,
Yeah.
um, like our little New York City. But yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of time here in Toronto too, or around Toronto growing up as well. So it's to me, it's been a fantastic music city. Just
Yeah.
watching it's like around Canada coming here, eventually Toronto back in the day, centralizing all the way out of here and finding record deals or satellite record deals from the States while living here. Like Rush got that kind of thing and a few other
Mhm.
bands that got those
Yeah.
kind of satellite deals. But yeah, I love Toronto musically speaking, and it's still pretty cool. Unfortunately, there's not enough exposure, even though we have those online stuff out there. Like even with yourself, it's hard to find, like it wasn't for your publicist, who's fantastic. We love the guy, Eric Appler, fantastic man.
Fantastic, absolutely.
He's an awesome guy. But like, wasn't for him, we would have heard of you. And that's the thing that's such a shame is there's a lot of great stuff, even out of Toronto,
Mhm.
or people from outside Toronto coming here,
Yeah.
basically themselves out of here, are just fantastic artists like yourself that just need to get heard on a much more larger scale. But
Yeah.
it's so talented. It really is. It's a shame because I mean you deserve a lot of attention because you really are you really are a triple threat.
Thank you. That's very
Yeah,
sweet. Thank you.
watching it lasted a while has just been really, really impressive.
Thanks.
Totally impressive. So do you have a set? I was going to get back to the band here for a moment. Like, do you have a set musicians, a band when you do live shows? Like, how's it work for you when it comes to your live show?
Don't have a band yet, unfortunately. I would love to have. Don't have one yet. For when it comes to, I've done live shows as a dancer and things like that. But
Yeah.
when it comes to my music career, because it's so recent, and like if we go back and think about it, when my first song came out, that was 2020. That was COVID. There was no
No
live,
shows.
nothing happening at that time, right?
Right.
So I've done one live show, and it was for Pride, which was exciting. I really enjoyed that. I was very happy to be a part of that show. And I sang to my track at that time. So I don't have a band quite yet.
Gotcha. But it's in the works. Yes. No.
I hope so. Like I said, we're working on seeing like if I can put a whole set together and get it out there and that kind of stuff. So I would say hopefully is the answer for now, I guess.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was really curious. I'm really curious about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm all about live shows. I love the live shows. So
Right.
yeah, absolutely. Well, over to Mr. Mark Cool Dude Duda.
Yeah. Hey, as you mentioned, I mentioned earlier, it is Pride Month now. So whether it's for yourself or for somebody that you love in your life or anything else, what does that mean to you, and what can we do as musicians to support Pride Month?
It's just being a part of it. So if you have something positive to bring, have something nice to say, just kind of make it known that it's a celebration, that it's about acceptance. I actually wrote a song called Bite the Rainbow.
Right.
Yeah. And that one is all about taking the time to take your journey and figure out who you are. And as you're doing that, and once you've done it, be proud of it. Be supportive of people who are as well going through that journey, and allow for that journey too. So it's about believing in yourself, believing in other people, and allowing the space for everyone to be who they really are.
Yeah, I think if you behave in that way, in an accepting manner, you generally do bring the right people into your orbit, and ultimately find, the people in your life that you want to be part of it. So that's interesting. Yes, there's lots in the news right now. I mean, mostly positive stuff, but there's also, like I saw, a demonstration today that got physical and things like that. So it's important, I think, that to take the positive side of things, and we don't all have to be militant in our attitudes. We can just be accepting. Awesome. Yeah. Now, how about videos? Do you have any idea to do videos or concepts for videos or anything like that coming up?
Yeah, so there's a lyric video out for Blast Off, which is the one that I wrote for my fiance. There's also a video for Bite the Rainbow, as well as Good Vibes. So those two videos were actually shot by my fiance Joe. And I edited both of them, and they turned out really, like, I'm very proud with how they turned out, and they look really good, and they were so much fun to make. I don't know if anyone really has seen the Bite the Rainbow one. I don't know if you've seen it.
I haven't seen it. Is it, where are they? Are they on YouTube, iTunes? Like where would you find them?
They're on YouTube.
Okay.
And for Bite the Rainbow, Joe was actually spraying me with different colors of paint. And so by the end of it, I was just covered in all these different colors, and my clothes were covered, and it was just so much fun. And then for the Good Vibes video, we actually went to an arcade. And so we shot the entire thing in the arcade. And I ended up, they let me get into that giant claw machine that picks up like the giant stuff.
Yeah.
Well, they actually let me get in there and shoot a bit of a scene in there, which was really fun too.
Oh, cool. I have to check that out. Yeah, that sounds cool. Yeah, and you're and so you know, in terms of the creativity of the video and stuff, is that something that your fiance sort of decides and blocks the shots and everything else, or are you part of that process? How do you guys work together on that?
She's definitely part of the process for sure. For Bite the Rainbow, we both knew that we wanted there to be a canvas, and originally I was just gonna spray the canvas, and that's where all the colors would have come from, and maybe I would have tried to draw something. But then when we got to the actual location where we were gonna shoot it, I had no way of hanging the canvas. So then we were like,
Ah,
what do we do? And so we ended up laying it on the floor, and then I just kind of started painting with my hands and throwing it like that. And then Joe goes, I have an idea. And so that's where she said, sit on
that's
there,
cool.
place the camera, and I'm gonna cover you in all that paint. So it really was kind of, I guess, by luck that that happened, just
Yeah,
because
I
we
love
had,
that sort of an impulsive thing that just went down that way. That's cool.
Yeah, that
yeah.
is. That is.
Right on. How do you
Osmosis there as well.
what do you think some of the challenges are with being a young lady involved in the entertainment industry that maybe are unique to women?
Oh, um, me personally, so far, I don't think that I have come across any, but
That's good.
for sure, 100%. But I do still think that it is it is still there. The whole maybe taking advantage of a situation or that
Sure.
kind of thing is still there. Like it's not gone by any means. I'm just lucky that I have been in positions where that hasn't happened. Um,
I think generationally it's getting better, right? People are becoming a little bit more sane as we evolve,
yeah.
We
and
sure
maybe
hope so.
behaving themselves a little bit better. You know, we can
And
only
there's
hope.
yeah, and there's also more vision isn't the word, more eyes on it, I guess if that's the
Yeah, more awareness. Yeah,
yeah,
I hear you. More
awareness.
attention. Yeah, you're right. Right, more attention. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. People aren't afraid to speak out about things, which they shouldn't be. But so I think that's cool. I think that's a way of becoming more highly evolved, no matter how slowly it's happening.
Yeah, and I also think that, um, uh, like, the message, I guess, also that we also want to portray, I think is also being taken seriously, like, yeah, you do have something to say, and it's
Yeah,
valid, go ahead, let's do it. I think that also comes into play as well, that we're open to hearing.
Yeah.
very cool. Yeah, absolutely. Well said.
Mhm.
Uh, Noel, take it away, brother.
Absolutely, will do. Will do. Do you have any kind of anybody have on your kind of wish list, your dream list, as far as kind of collaborations concerned? You like to work with down the road in the near
Absolutely.
future? Let me give
Um,
us a small list here. Some folks you'd like to work with down the road.
this one person that if you've like known me and you followed me for a while, you would know, but it's always a shock to people that kind of just ask me that question but don't really know me. It's
Alicia
Barry
Keys?
Manilow.
Oh,
Like,
really?
I
Wow.
love yeah,
Wow.
I absolutely love Barry Manilow.
Theatrical. You like theatrical sounding stuff.
I've gone to quite a bit of concerts, like, I've been to many concerts, and to this day, still the one to beat is Barry Manilow, just the way
Wow.
Yeah,
not just
interesting.
his music, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love his musics, but it's not just that, it's the way that his concert was laid out, ho like,
Mhm.
how oh my gosh, I'm speechless when I speak about this concert that I saw because it was just like I couldn't believe it. It was just so well done, like, how everything was flowing on stage, how his band was it was just perfect. So, Barry Manilow, definitely someone that I would love to collaborate with. And then there's Justin Bieber. He's
Mhm.
amazing.
Mhm.
I've been probably his number 1 fan since forever.
Oh, is
Uh,
that right? Okay, yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I love Justin Bieber. Um I love J.Lo as well. Lizzo, absolutely fantastic. I feel like Lizzo with her music is putting out a message of kind of like what I wanna put out as well. It's all about feeling good and feeling good in your own body and accepting yourself and accepting everybody else as well, and just being supportive, just, and I feel like her music is very much doing that. So when I hear another artist doing that, it's like, yep, that's
Yeah, same
what,
page. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Same line of thought and so forth. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Is there one more person you want to add on that short list there of you want to collaborate with down the road?
Um, let's see. I'm trying to think of someone that maybe isn't like mainstream or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, oh, I don't know.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Yeah. I do love the Backstreet Boys, so I'm
Hmm.
gonna throw them in there. Yeah. They
I
are
can
very
see that.
mainstream.
Yeah, yeah. I hear that. Oh, very fitting. Yeah, oh, very fitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also very cool. So, I'm gonna get back to being an actress and also you're a speed skater. Is that
Yeah.
correct too?
I used to, well, that was the
How'd you
reason.
squeeze that in there during all those things you're doing as well? How'd that all work out?
Yeah, actually, that was remember when I said I lived in Calgary for 5 years? That
Yeah.
was, one of the reasons. So they have the Olympic Oval
Yes,
out
they do.
in Calgary. I used to do short track speed skating though, so I wasn't on the big oval. The short track is, the one that kinda looks like roller derby on ice,
Yeah, I
that
know
one.
that. Yeah.
So I used to do short track speed skating, and I was training for the Olympics. So
Wait, back up here. Train for the Olympics?
I didn't go to
Really?
the Olympics,
Like
but I
Wow.
Apollo
trained.
Ono stuff, right?
Yeah, so I
Quadruple threat over here, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, Olympian too,
yeah. I
Awesome.
didn't make it. I didn't make it. I was close. I was, in the top around there, but I didn't
That's
quite
still
make it.
huge. That's still huge.
Yeah. And it definitely taught me a lot of discipline and a lot of like, if this is what you want to do, this
Yeah.
is what you have to do.
Athletics does that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I used to
Yeah.
wake up in the morning, and even just the warm up for my first session lasted 45 minutes. So when you tell someone that you warmed up for 45 minutes, they're like, "No, that's my workout," right?
Yeah. Yeah, on
So,
average. Yeah.
yeah, so it was a lot of, "You gotta do this if you wanna get there," and I kinda just take that with anything that I do. So even with dance and even with my singing career, you got to do this if you want to get there. So I kind of like that I have that in my back pocket where
No
I know
kidding.
that I can be disciplined about something to be able
Yeah.
to reach where I'm trying to go.
Well, that like I used to do myself in my sport in boxing. It's high, what you did there is high performance, and so
Yep,
high performance is not just your physical high performance ability. It's also what's going on
for
and
sure.
here, and how they're all in sync together as one.
Yeah.
So to do what you're doing, it doesn't really matter if you make the Olympic team. The point is you got that stage.
Yeah.
So when you get that stage, like that's to me is very special because you're tying in so many things, and you know how to now channel that at the right time, the right place, and that's to me that's brilliant because to do that at such a young age, I watch it over and over again. It's
Mhm.
still it's still a fascinating thing to watch because you're watching their soul meet the human self in a tangible way, and it's
Yep.
like wow, that's really is. Well, that's a special thing because it's such a rare thing to
Yeah.
accomplish. So yeah, anybody blows it, it kind of reaches out what you did in your level there. Which to me has always been mind blowing to me. But thank God I'm part of that. But I never actually did it myself as an athlete, but as a coach, I've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
But
I actually,
it's cool to watch it, and that's cool
yeah.
you actually did that. That's amazing to me.
Thank you. I like that you said, right state of mind too. One of the lyrics in Good Vibes is right place, right time, but
Hmm.
you could be in the right place, right time, but maybe nothing happens. And then
That's
the
right.
third part of the lyric was right place, right time, right state of mind. So it's those three things that have to come together.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah. So
Otherwise, you
I
don't
like that
walk
you
through the
said,
door when it opens, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
If you could be known for one thing, like if you could be known for one of the things you do only, which one would it be?
You mean between dancing, singing, and acting?
Yes,
Yes,
you could be
precisely.
known and
And
remembered
we
for
can
one
probably
of
more
those
beyond
things only. Which one would you pick?
that.
Oh my. That's a hard choice because dance is my first love. Like,
Mm.
if dance is like the thing that I'm comfortable with, like that's the comfort zone. Um,
Do you choreograph as well?
absolutely, yeah.
Hmm.
I teach at a studio where they do competitive dance as well, and so I do their choreography for the competitions. So,
Cool.
so that all that is just it's in me, it's in my back pocket, and then acting and singing is new, but it's so like it pulls me in, right? So it's hard to choose. I think like right this second, if you said right now, I would probably say singing.
Okay.
Because I do want to express and send a message of, the things that I believe in. And I think that in this moment, for me, through my music is the way that I feel like me personally, I could pass that message along.
It's a lifelong pursuit also, as opposed to athletics and some other things like competitive dance that, they're more difficult to do as you get older. But folks that take care of their voices, like Barry Manilow, can sing well into their 70s. Tony Bennett was singing. He was, I think, 90. So it's, I think that's one thing that's cool about music and painting and a lot of artistic pursuits is that they're lifelong pursuits. Makes it more worth putting the time in to me, but maybe not to somebody else,
Right.
But that's cool. It's a good answer. Are you interested in picking up instruments at all? We just talked about like the 30 different things you do, but there are a lot of people in order to write songs. Like for me, right? I was just a singer in band for maybe the first 10 years. And then I learned how to play guitar just so that I was self-empowered to write songs alone. I didn't need somebody else to do it with me. And that's what I wanted at that time. Have you thought about learning instrument, piano, guitar, anything like that?
Well, I know how to play guitar. I'm not guitar, the piano. I'm classically trained in piano. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I can play the piano.
Where'd you find the time to do that?
And that.
Mind-blowing.
Cool, though.
Yeah.
Very
and I want to play guitar so badly. Like you cannot imagine how many times I sit there and I try to play guitar. I feel like I have the hands of a child. I cannot, for the life of me, when they say cover the whole thing, right? The whole
because one finger wants to do something, you can't make the other one do something else. The muscle memory is very difficult to develop for most people, but then once you get it, it's really rewarding. But you know what? You have that stick-to-itiveness. You said that earlier, right? It's not one of those, it's like exercise or prayer or the type of thing where you do it every day at a regular cadence for a while, and then you realize your life is better for whatever reason, The guitar's like that for me. I probably picked it up and put it down 3 or 4 times before I figured it out.
Well, I put it down because I just couldn't get this finger to stay there. And then
I know what you mean.
Come on, stay there.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
I picked up the ukulele. I was like, listen, this thing is too big, but the ukulele seems smaller.
Okay. Yeah.
So I picked up the ukulele and I taught myself how to play the ukulele by watching
that's cool.
YouTube videos. But I'm definitely going to go back to the guitar because I definitely want to do that. And then drums. Do you remember there used to be a game called Guitar Hero?
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. Huge
and then,
hit. Fantastic.
Yeah, and then there was the next one that came out, which I think was like not Garage Band, but it was like the band version of Guitar Hero.
Yeah, I do.
And it had like the set of drums.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, sure do.
So when you played that game and you played the drums, it actually gave you like the kick, or I'm so sorry.
The bass pedal, eh?
Yeah, the bass pedal, and it would like tell you when to hit the different stuff.
Sure.
And then I'm like, I wonder if playing that game made it possible for me to actually play the drums.
It might. There are electronic drums that prompt you that way, just like keyboards have keys that light up, and until you get it, you can keep them on, and then one day you don't need them anymore.
Yeah, so I sat down on an actual drum, and I played something for a drummer, and I said, is this legit? Like, is this something? And he's like, yeah. So
cool. Yeah. See, the video games used to be a sign of a wasted youth, but not anymore.
No.
My son was doing varsity esports as a freshman, and I hear they give out scholarships now. So listen, it's a new day, Video games are actually worth doing in a lot of ways. They build cognitive abilities. They build reaction time.
Underrated.
you have to focus on many
Great
things
ones.
at once, right? So, you know, our folks, like, right, like Noel, when we were growing up, there were no video games until we were like 12 or 13, right? And
Yeah,
then
we
it's like our
had
parents
Atari
told
and
us it would turn our brains to mush and didn't let us do it, you know?
right. But I
Yeah,
gotta say, the old Pong game was actually really good for the hand-eye coordination. Remember Pong?
sure.
I mean, that came in the late
What
70s.
he's talking about,
It
though,
was
is there
very
was a
first.
whole big console, bigger than any console you have now, and literally all it played was Pong. And there was like two lines
Uh,
that moved up and down and a
yeah,
dot. That was it. Yeah, that's like the
that was
Odyssey
Pong.
Pong from like,
We went
I
on we went
don't
on a
know.
fast speed of Pong. Like,
Yeah.
okay, now you're working the hand-eye coordination now.
But by the time Tetris came out, we all had game, right?
That's
So,
right. That's right. That's right. Very
yeah,
good
good
memories.
times, man.
Memories. Exactly. Well, let me ask you as well. Actually, just going back for a moment here, like you know, Anna, as you like, I can see. I don't know what it is, but I can kind of envision like you could be a bit of like a Bowie female type artist, live show wise. I don't know why I keep thinking this, but I think you have that kind of ability where you can be really
You got Chameleon, lots of theatrical
absolutely
stuff, set
chameleon.
changes, all that
I love
stuff.
that. That's
Absolutely,
great.
I can definitely. I don't know what it is, but I kind of feel that sense it with you. You can definitely go in that direction and do a
That's
super
quite the
super job.
compliment. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I saw this gut feeling you could go that direction. Be just boom, just
Yeah.
bingo. There it is. Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see a lot of talent in here, and so keep up the great stuff there. Yeah.
Thanks.
I gotta ask you, kind of also a little kind of cool side note, but is there a song out there you wish like, damn, I wish I wrote that song? Is there a song
Yeah.
out there? Yeah,
Yeah.
what will be that song?
Lizzo's good as hell. You know how I said that
Good song.
when I
Yeah,
do lives on my TikTok,
yeah,
someone came on and said, "I wake up in the morning and I play your song because
right.
I want to set my day up for
Want
a
to feel
good
good.
day." That's what I used to do with her song. So 100% I wish I was on that song for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I like that. Mark, how about you? Quick second here. How about you, Mark?
Listen, I'm just going to say this. Explore the rock palette as well as the
Oh,
electronic instruments. You'll find that organic instruments, right? Especially percussion, you know, and live drums. It inspires you to write different kinds of things. Like, you know, one thing I do is if I'm in a rut or I'm writing the same kind of things, you just pick up a different instrument, or maybe just not the same exact guitar, a different one. All right. And like,
good
so
point.
you're listening to getting inspiration from instrumental tracks. Do you vary that at all? Like sometimes the instrumental is jazz, sometimes it's rock, sometimes it's, do you take different inspiration like that?
I do. I haven't gone through the rock route.
I have to say that I'm a rocker. I wouldn't change it if I could.
Me too. Guilty as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do like I'll go through like a soul R&B and then I'll be like disco and then I'll look for
Yeah.
like I don't always stay in the pop dance genre. I do try to look around. But
Well,
I
your songs are different, right? A lot of people write the same song over and over and over again. You don't have that many out, but they're all different.
right.
So
hmm
that's cool.
But I'll give rock a listen. Maybe I'll
Recommend it.
yeah.
Recommend it.
Pat Benatar,
Exactly.
Joan Jett, you know.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Even
so true.
Susie Quattro, right? From Michigan back in the day. So
Yeah.
yeah.
There's so many great ones you can check out. Yeah, it's definitely fun. I find probably like late 70s, early 80s. I think would be probably a good window for her to catch music speaking, as far as like female artists and rock bands.
Yeah.
That would be
Heart,
more her. Yeah, I recommend that window.
Melissa Etheridge, you know.
Yeah. There's
Um,
singer-songwriters with some edge to them, musically speaking.
Yeah. hmm
yeah.
I would check that out. Yeah.
What'd you say, honey? My wife said Indigo Girls. I love the
Indigo goes.
Girls.
Yeah, good call there.
Absolutely
Good
love
call,
them.
Mr. Duda. Right on.
Absolutely love them. There's my wife.
There you
Bring
go.
her on.
There
Very
you
good.
go, Mrs. Duda.
Good call there. Woohoo. Well, before we go, so where can people check out more on you online in terms of your music, where they can download more of your stuff out there?
Yeah, so all of my music is on any streaming platform. So whatever your favorite streaming platform is, it'll be on there, as well as the videos that are on YouTube. And I'm on Instagram and TikTok mostly. I do have a Twitter and a Facebook, but you'll mostly see me on TikTok and Instagram.
Very good. Yeah, good old TikTok. I know, eh?
I love it. It's my
That's a
favorite.
lot of numbers on that one.
Facebook's for old guys like me.
Yeah, we don't rate on that one.
No. My kids don't
We're
go
too
near
old
it
for
either.
TikTok. Yeah. We could belong to the old Facebook page, apparently, the old Facebook app. Yeah. Well, once again, great congratulations on the new single. It came out
Absolutely.
today. Good
Thank you so
vibes.
much.
It really is good vibes. And it's good vibes with you talking here with you tonight. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Thanks for having me. I had a blast.
Yeah,
Right
thanks
on.
for
Good
coming. It's
week.
great meeting you.
It's
Definitely
nice
let
meeting
us know how you're doing. Stay in touch.
Actually,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna want to message you so you can let me know what those rock ones are that you just.
Okay, cool.
I would love
Beautiful.
to.
We'll do that.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, I think now long and hard for you for a really quality list. Yeah, you're on. Deal. No, you're so incredibly talented, like multi talented. It really is phenomenal to talk with you and like get more of your insights and your life experience. But just really incredible. So keep up the great work, and good luck with good vibration. Good vibes. Good vibrations with the good vibes. Yeah,
there you go. Thank you.
Well, thanks again, Ana Pac. So, and of course, my cool co-host in New Jersey right now, Mr. Mark Cool Dude Duda. Thank you as well. And you folks for watching. Thanks again. Remember, check out Zingo TV for all the news. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, live it, and hey, man, love it. Thanks again, guys. See you again real soon. Take care. All the best.
Bye.
Bye-bye.